Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be trying out is Welcome to Rothchild. A horror map which I don't know anything about, but which a number of you suggested, and you say is supposed to be fairly impressive. It kind of dropped us in without giving us any story, but the workshop page says that we were a motorist whose car ran out of gas on the highway, and following a dirt road toward the only light in the distance, we started to feel like we were being watched, like we were being followed. Hard work and progress, I guess a town motto. I wonder if maybe this place isn't what it seems? I'll tell you what it seems like right now. It seems like this place is abandoned. The lights may be on, but the door is missing, and it looks like this place has been ransacked. Yeah, not a soul in sight. Which means this place probably isn't going to be any help in getting gas for my car. Now I've noticed right away, we're actually walking at a fairly slow pace and we don't have our flashlight. Meaning this thing wants us to experience it slowly. And the back door is locked. But there's something on the counter. Gas station key. Oh, hey, and it's actually using ventriloquism on me. I didn't say that, but it's showing up in the chat window. Great timing. Ooh, a crowbar. Right there under the flickering light, as if it meant to guide me straight to it. And there's some windows up above. Maybe I can see who's next door? This isn't opening, but maybe I can break down some boards or something. We can run a little bit. I'm sort of wondering what'll happen if I just try and go backwards down the path the way I came. This map does feature 3 separate endings. Maybe we could start off just going the coward's way? I shouldn't go back there. The soundtrack seems to reaffirm that that would be a bad decision. I can't move. I can't move. Oh my god! Afraid you tried to turn back. Something was waiting for you. Okay, that's what I get for trying for the Far Cry secret ending. Man, I never even got to know what hit me. But it sounded absolutely horrific. This is actually really cool. It seems like our path through the map is fairly open-ended, even if it does have a lot of scripted events. So it's almost like a hybrid horror and exploration map. And we're going to have to explore if we find out just what all this hard work and progress actually means. The fact that we're finding this place so empty to me suggests that whatever ambushed us in the woods may have done the same thing to the people of this town. Or, for all I know, maybe it even came from here. Well, the windows of the building next door are what first caught my eye, so I think that would be a good place to start our search. But without a flashlight, I really feel pretty vulnerable, even if I do have a weapon in my hands. Nothing here. The TV turned on as I walked out. Hello? I can't seem to interact with it. Okay, something really strange is going on here. And I don't know which direction I should be more concerned about. Back the way I came, or whatever I've run straight into. Looks like somebody was squatting here. What is this? It's been 5 years since we arrived at this community, and still the head of the Rothchild family hasn't given us any sort of compensation for our work. We still live in the same rundown place and can barely make ends meet. I understand we're still new here, but the things that people talk about, and tell us not to talk about, we should be treated with more respect. So, that's not just a slogan. This place actually has its own sort of system here. A system where they still haven't earned their place, even after half a decade of working for them. I've just noticed that bloodstain on the floor. Okay, so we're learning a lot quickly. The Rothchild family, I guess, are the rich folks in charge of this place. But honestly, with the way they're talking about it, seemingly hiding some things from the new recruits, it's almost more like a cult than anything. Well, that's not good. Yep, we're gonna have to work to pay back that debt, aren't we? Actually, this does not seem like the kind of place that will just fork over gas for a small amount of cash. Why did we just blink like that? Maybe I can... there seems to be an invisible wall. I can't make my way up and over this dumpster to get into the yard. I don't know, it's just, I feel like I was lured into the back of the gas station, and my first instinct is that it has something to do with someone watching me from those windows. Okay, but next thing's next. We'll try this outer road, which isn't much comfort, considering I also feel eyes on me from the shadowy forest. What is that poster over there? Have you seen this man? White-collar criminal. I wonder what a white-collar criminal even means in a place like this. Like, is this a member of the Rothschilds, the ruling dynasty around here, or is this somebody who just became successful enough that they could threaten the ruling dynasty? The thing about a place like this is the old money always wins. Nothing here. I'm just peeking around, poking my head through windows to see if there's anything useful. I would very much like some fresh fruit right about now, but, well, this seems to be locked. That is a crashed vehicle on fire. Whatever happened here, did it maybe happen recently? I mean, there's clearly something strange going on before, but that doesn't explain what's been happening to us. That doesn't explain the emptiness. Caution, deep water. You know what? With a dock as rickety as this, I'm not gonna press my luck. Let's just try whatever houses we can. This one's actually open, but I'm gonna try the alleyway. You're probably not going to be able to hear it, but every time that red light flashes, there's like a buzzing noise to go with it. Maybe these are the owners of the gas station, since they have a fence leading from the back area into their yard. Alright, if we continue working our way around, we've gotta find a way in, right? I feel like I just heard something around the corner. Hello? It looked like it was in the shape of like a person, maybe wearing a dress? I don't like this. It's like the place is inhabited, but I just can't see the people. Well, up until now. UNDL. It's the 10th day in a row that the lights go out at midnight. I know we're all in a debt of gratitude towards the Rothschilds, but there's no excuse for keeping that old generator that keeps failing every day. Tomorrow I'll go to the manor myself to talk about it. Someone has to. Oh, wait, were you trying to decipher something in Morse code and maybe coming through the radio? And you talk about the power failing every night at midnight, and maybe it's not a failing generator. Maybe it's a deliberate blackout to happen with that regularity? Couldn't really gather much from that. There's one last character, but you never got around to writing it down. Maybe you were in the process of decoding this message and somebody found out, somebody came and stopped you? I don't have much confidence that this crowbar will be able to do anything about whatever we just saw. But I must say, I'm fascinated by all the questions this is raising. Is it midnight already? Okay, signs of violence. Not just signs of violence, there's a body! Like you were running away from something and you were knocked down and dragged. There's a lock over there. Can I maybe knock this down myself? Finish the job? Doesn't seem so. Yeah, it's like you were trying to get up and leave in a hurry from your desk and something like slammed you into the wall and threw you out into the hallway. Now I'm wondering if something went wrong here or if this is the progress they were always working towards. Like maybe this was the intended result. Maybe the Rothschilds were doing something that the rest of the public didn't even actually know about. Look, there's a plank going between rooftops. So, actually, this may have been the resident dissident's house, and just found a CD in this alley. I don't know if this is something that we need, but the workshop page did say that there's a lot of hidden secrets. Did somebody just run behind me? Oh no, one of these planks broke. I think somebody ran over the rooftops. Okay, we need to keep alert because clearly we are not alone here. Another red glow from inside this place, too. Locked, but maybe we can crouch under here? Nah. I think it's gonna be a bit too low still. What is this building over here? Oh wait, there's an open manhole right here, but it's too dark to go down. Alright, I'm gonna have to find myself a flashlight then. I think that's the only way I'm gonna be able to navigate down there. Until then, we just keep checking houses, and I think this one is the one that backs onto the gas station. That light is coming from the TV. That's been a pretty consistent element here, is TVs operating by themselves. There's another broken door right here, which we can open and find ourselves a gun. Oh god, we found ourselves a gun. I mean, I know we can use it to shoot out that padlock, but does that mean that some threats may still be hanging around? Dad heard some strange noises coming from the front door. I thought it was an animal or something, but he looked really worried and told me to hide in here, and he gave me his gun. I never used a gun before. Why was he so scared? Now I'm scared too. If he takes too long, I'll come out. I don't care. I have his gun. I won't let anyone hurt Dad. So wait, that creature that attacked us or that was following us in the woods, that also came through the streets of the town. It's almost like this thing is protecting this area as its territory. But what does that have to do with everything else that's happening here? The other thing, the figure we saw in that house. Beware of dog is right. I think we found Dad. What is that buzzing? It's just, there's so many little noises just all over the place, and it's making me really flinchy and paranoid. This too, it's like he tried to leave and something dragged him back here and then finally like threw him against that wall. Oh, it's the alarm clock. I was really worried for when I turn around. It's so creepy how when you first arrive in town, it just looks still, sleepy, like everyone's gone to bed. But then as soon as you start poking around, you see just what kind of horror show this really is. I still can't figure out how to get into here, but without a flashlight, I just don't know where else to go. There we go. Now let's make sure we always have a full gun. Can we break down these boards? No. I was hoping I'd be able to get some better sight lines, but something tells me that if this thing wants me, it's gonna get me. And here's our ticket in. It is really dark down here. But we can remove that board and open ourselves out to the street. And it's got a basement. First, let's check what's up here. The light's on, but it sure doesn't look like it. Here we go, we can restore the power. The lights are back on, but do we want to see what's up there? There's that blink again. Second time that's happened. And here's another TV. Dear Mr. Rothchild, while the least thing I'd want is to sound disrespectful after everything you and your family has done for us, the complaints about the electricity going out have become more and more frequent. I know that the research you guys make is really important and keeps the town going, but maybe we can invest in a better electrical system? Just so the people don't ask so many questions as for why every other night the lights go out. Thank you in advance. Graham Bowler. Research, huh? Found Graham Bowler. You were just hidden here in the dark. I was walking right by you and had no idea. So just about this entire town is dead. All of them spending years in essentially indentured servitude to the local rich family, who are apparently undertaking some project that utilizes all of the town's power, causing frequent blackouts. I think we are dealing with a town run by genuine mad scientists. And as tends to happen in those cases, I think their greatest achievement might have gotten loose. There's a real interesting looking park right here. In fact, I can see something maybe collectible over there. Maybe I can move along here and then go up and over into this yard. That hurt a bit. But yes, okay, this actually did work. I was worried I was going to be trapping myself by doing that. That required a little thinking outside the box, but now all this fresh fruit is mine. And I don't know, maybe I can use it to make some biodiesel to get my car out of here? But of course we find the same telltale signs of violence that we do in every other place. All of it so well hidden. A lot of blood, but no body. And it's almost like this whole place is a trap. Some place where it wants people to end up, be deceived by the relative calmness. Of course, sometimes it can't help but betray the real nature of the place. Alright, there's a note on the desk right there. People keep complaining about the light going out every other day. I get their frustration, but what bothers me is the how. Like, how is the generator failing? It's really not that old, and there isn't much power consumption in such a small community. What makes it shut down like that? Well, not much power consumption that you know about. I'm still going with the mad scientist angle. Hello? Ooh, there's a gnome. Maybe we can do something with the gnome. Oh, I see. Now that we've got the power on, I suppose there's enough light. And by enough light, I mean enough to see what's in front of us like a beacon, not enough to actually see the space we're in. Oh, I don't like this. This is near pitch darkness. It's only by contrast that I'm able to see anything. Something is causing lights to go out down that way. And I'm not sure, but I sort of feel like I may have seen something right before it did. Oh, something has completely collapsed into the sewers here. Wait. Okay, yes, we can climb up these pipes. Alright, that should get us to the other side of the wreck. Hearing whispering. Was that a scream? I think whatever's going on here, not only is it recent, I think it's ongoing. But this is a much nicer and fancier house compared to the other ones we've been to. Is this maybe the home of the Rothschilds? Is this the seat of power of this town? This door is not going to open all the way, but I think what we can see tells the whole story. Locked. Everything's locked. I can hardly see a thing. My God. If there was any question before as to whether we were being led, it's gone now. Let's make sure we're armed and prepared. Wait, I think I see something there. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. What are you? Oh! A JPEG jump scare! Wow! God. It seems like even the elite weren't safe in this town. The backyard key. Okay, that's what we needed. While I don't claim to be a saint of any kind, and accept the fact that to make progress in certain scientific fields, subjects such as morality can be bended or diluted, I fear my son's ambition might be clouding his judgment. There just are things we can't afford to do if we plan to keep our work safe from prying eyes. The results of our experiment are showing something promising results. And I guess the elder Rothchild was not convinced that it could be contained. Perhaps wise. An equal and opposite reaction. Just what is supposed to be going on here? This seems to be so much more than just a monster, a creation that escaped. It's like you're bending the laws of reality itself in this place. A creature killing off the townspeople coming back as ghosts, and I don't know, maybe you tapped into something that allowed you to do this to begin with. But we should have the ability to go out the back door now. I was wondering if maybe you guys wouldn't have been insulated from all of this, but now I see you were ground zero. Oh, of course there's a cellar. And another key. Which we need a key to retrieve. Yeah, you got that high-density, high-strength glass, huh? Maybe we can find something around the side? No, not that I can see. I'm just procrastinating. To be honest, I really don't want to go down there. And whatever is here, it definitely knows I'm here. I hear those wet little footsteps. Entrance key. Can we get into here now? No? Alright, out the front door it is then. I think it's the third time we've blinked like that, and every single time I get the impression that something has changed around me. I've heard things, but I've never actually seen something when that happens. I just heard a door close. I think this one was closed to begin with, but I definitely heard it close. Like, if something was able to do all of this, why doesn't it just come out and do the same to me? Why would something of this strength follow me all the way? Is this what it's like to be a civilian in fear? I thought I heard screams coming from Jane's manor, and just now I saw their butler running away in fear and locking himself in his house. I have to go check inside. Got a bad feeling about this. Did whatever was over there end up chasing you all the way back here? Or is this the butler's house? It would make sense living right next door to the mansion. here. And so now I'm just making my way from house to house, hoping to find answers wherever I can. Hoping to find something that helps me before something finds me. The manor is closed shut and no one answered the door. This is the end. My ambition brought this city to ruin. And possibly the world. I should have listened to... presumably your father. Which means they were dabbling in things that were even beyond them. Things that I didn't understand. Every sound I've heard here has been the worst sound I've ever heard. Rail tracks. Can I maybe just follow these out of here? I think I'd be ready to give up on my car by now. But of course we have no such option. And no ability to break open those doors for easier escape routes. I can't open that either. Alright, next one, but there is an alleyway behind the house. Again, still really regretting my lack of flashlight. 2 of 6. I must say, I'm really enjoying the sort of slower, more investigative pace of this. It's creepy, and it does have jump scares, even a JPEG jump scare. But there's also some original stuff. Some original sounds, some really creepy ambiance. You get the sense that this place was creepy for many, many years before we arrived. And it's just our misfortune that we're arriving right at the crescendo of the horror show. I knew this place looked too clean. What? See, this whole thing just gives you the constant feeling of being watched. Like, so many waiting, hungry eyes are waiting for you to take the bait. And you always think you have taken the bait, but then nothing happens to you, and you're being led deeper and deeper, and you realize just how far you'd have to go to even try to turn back. I keep hearing rumors about our hospital, of how people that went missing were last seen there, and it's such nonsense. People really are ungrateful with what we were given, making those kind of stories. That hospital is state-of-the-art, so much so that people from other towns and even cities come here to get treated. We're lucky to have the Rothschilds taking care of us. So they weren't just the money, the place from where all the wealth in this town flows. Oh my God. I only got to register that face for a fraction of a second, and I already think I'm going to be seeing it in my nightmares. Gee, that grin, that fish-like grin. Oh, we can come out through the back here. I had not realized this. And I bet the story here will be the same as everywhere else, right? Oh, yes. Oh, and now this is opened up. Ah, this is this house. So, if anything, it's just letting me go. Hopefully, I'm still hoping to find the key to that shed in the back of the mansion. I'm just waiting to see what it'll cost to get it. Something's rummaging about downstairs. something very big and very strong was rummaging downstairs. Looks like trying to hide here didn't work out for you. Let's hope it works a little better for me. I've served the Rothschilds for more than 30 years, and in all that time I've kept quiet. Quiet about things I maybe shouldn't have. But this thing, as soon as I laid my eyes on it, I knew. They went too far. Doomed us all. It's only fitting they met their end by that which they themselves brought. I'm only sorry for the people of the town. Lived a lie their whole life, and now they're about to live a nightmare. So you were essentially one of their top guys. This is something that was in the works for quite a while, and now, well, we see the results. Maybe if just a few more people had spoken up, this wouldn't have been able to happen. But they created an atmosphere where no one could speak up. I mean, when all of your wealth is dependent on one family, how can you say anything? They gave you everything you have. That means they can take it all away. Alright, but we've got the shed key now, which means we're good to go. Although I do not recall shutting this door before. Park gate. Okay, that's excellent. We are out of here. And I realize that there's only one way from which we can return. Whole lot of double doorways for something to run across. It is just so cool to me to see a map this ambitious, where it's so scripted and yet so open-ended that it's really just a matter of exploring everything at our own pace, and it's only once we've found everything that we'll be able to move on. I love this. Let's check the park for anything we might be able to use. I still remember you from before. Some are getting eaten. Others are being dragged into the woods half dead. I have no idea what it's doing to them, but I can't stop now. My house is across the street. As soon as I hear another scream, I'm making a run for it. If anything, we should probably be grateful we were late for the main event. And imagine the bad luck, though. We were never part of this world. To them, this at least had some context, but to us, we were just thrown into this world. And it sounds like, for some, the screaming never stops. This whole map just constantly feeds you the vibe that you're not supposed to be here. That whatever was going on was the business of you and someone you'll never meet, and now you're an interloper and intruder. It's locked. Well, I could see that. Oh, great. Are we gonna start dealing with mannequins now, too? Seems like something tore its way through there. Nope, still just checking for CDs. Like, it shows you these things that you only get to register for a moment, but you just keep replaying it in your head over and over afterwards. Can we get in here? Something tells me we're gonna have to climb in. Or crawl. Crawling works. Locked. A whole pile of bodies right here. Did they maybe try to take shelter, thinking that the shutters could save them? Somehow the fact that someone stopped you is even creepier than the fact that you started in the first place. I thought I heard like the faint sound of like conversation up above us, and then that. If that's what I thought it was, then that's brilliant. Get us to listen carefully and then hit us with a loud jump scare. Alright, something is going on upstairs. Some of these events make it feel like we're just constantly weaving a line of pure luck between events. Like we're always there just before and just after something comes through. Oh, look at all this. I don't want to go this way, but I have to look everywhere. Just keeping an eye out for those CDs. Gotta expand our music collection while we're here. I swear the ghosts have gotten more doors for me than I've opened. Another blink. It always seems to happen when something is happening just out of my view. I'm almost starting to think that these are times when I did see the creature, and it's like my senses just won't let me perceive it in order to protect me. Everything else around here, just fine, but nothing else quite elicits that reaction. Horror baby, let's get you to bed. I don't think you want to be out and about while whatever's happening is happening. Wait, can we climb out here? No, I was thinking maybe we could do something over the rooftops again. More. You know, you're giving me a whole lot of ammo for a gun that, as far as I can tell, is only for panic firing when something scares me. I knew I shouldn't have come to this place. Supposedly, it was for my wife's career, to come to work to a random hospital in the middle of nowhere. I didn't question it at first because they offered her a house and the salary was great. But now, I can see now. She got involved in some kind of secret research founded by the family that runs this town. She's been out for more than 5 hours now, and some kind of monster broke into our son's bedroom and kidnapped him. I can't take this anymore. The phones don't work, and I can only hear distant screams from distant parts of town. Please, Lord, forgive me. All I wanted was to live in peace. You used this gun on yourself. And honestly, that might have been the preferable fate. We've seen the eviscerated bodies all over town, and we still have no idea what happens to those who are taken into the woods. I can only shudder thinking that that probably would have been us if it had caught us out there. It followed us in, though. It's hanging out in the woods. It's almost like... well, it's almost like it's guarding this town. It's guarding! It's kill! Oh my god. This has me way too on edge for a Gary's Mod horror map. The first jump scare was a JPEG jump scare, and it's only continued to impress me since then. Is it like trying to set my expectations low so that the rest of this will be a heart attack every time? There's an open construction site over here. No CDs in the toilet. Nope. but there is a note in the field. I barely managed to cross the street without being seen, already hearing screams from across town. I still can't believe it didn't work. Everything was set up perfectly according to the scriptures. Was one of the children not pure? Was this not just a science experiment, but something that was motivated by, like, some kind of religious cult? I mean, we are circling back around to the cult angle, but maybe the Rothschilds had some motivation in this other than just money. Other than just research, maybe there was some kind of child sacrifice involved. Generator is out of gas. Well, you know, this is gonna present a real interesting dilemma, because if we can find some gas, we should probably use it on our car, don't you think? Although, we may be past the point of no return on that, considering we came here through the sewers. This must be the hospital that they were talking about. But if that's the case, if most of this town hinged around this hospital, then maybe this was the center point of the research. I mean, we know at the very least that this was where they were getting their test subjects from. I think that thing's stalking around again. Something's out there. I think something's trapped in that back room. For you to be covered like that, someone had to leave you there. So there's gas back here. I was thinking of stacking stuff, but I can't actually seem to pick anything up. Looks like it's missing a battery. Okay, so now I'm also on the lookout for a battery. Okay, I'm clearly not supposed to jump up and over because there's invisible walls out the wazoo. Oh, we could come back here behind the house, and here we trip over a bike and find another Easter egg. Well, I didn't want to move on just yet, but I guess the bolt cutters will have to help now. Now entering the shopping district, which looks to have been in dire straits even before. See, the weird thing about all of this is that it looks fairly modern. It doesn't look like your typical rundown village owned by the madman. These people were living a modern life, just under the influence of someone who really shouldn't have been in charge. And now let's ascend the spiral staircase where only good things happen to horror protagonists. I don't even know what I just saw, but I know I saw something. A lot of my experiences today could be summed up like that, and oh my god, it is like chutes and ladders in this place. And some things even this town doesn't want me to see. It's another quake. That's the second time we've experienced some kind of like tremors while we were here. Which, between that and whatever was going on in the sewers, whatever had tunneled its way out of the manor, I wonder if maybe something didn't manage to get its way underground. It was never supposed to be like this. Well, you say that, but it doesn't seem all that far off. Garage key, excellent. Now we can go back there and get the gas. But there's still a lot more for us to see, it looks like, and maybe we can open this gate from the back? Oh, this map is so gorgeously designed. I mean, from the outskirts, yes, it looks like, you know, it's this podunk little town. But then we start to get deeper and we start to see that, yes, this place did have some sort of life to it, some sort of economy. It's just that it all hinged on one person, which means it all hinged on their whims. Ah, another music CD. That's 4 out of 6. And here's a bloodbath. It looks like they were in the middle of trying to board this place up, but they never got the chance to finish. This map is absolutely crazy so far, and I love how it's giving us so much while feeling like we're getting so little. And I'm calling it again, like I said, I think that whatever happened here, it's not just a monster on the loose. I think it did something to the people of this town. They're in the water. Oh, and a drawing of that gnome we found behind that other house a while back. Yeah, now as I leave, all the gates open up behind us. Maybe we'll have to backtrack for something, but really what's playing out here is just a more extreme version of what plays out all over the world, all throughout time. Everyone depends on the rich, which means their eccentricities, their weird obsessions, are kind of forced to become everyone else's weird obsessions. There we go. Is this a readable note? No. Alright, let's just grab the gas and get out of here then. Thank you. Oh, we can read the screen. This is a private message. The new test subjects will arrive from something city in 2 days from now. However, I must express my concern again about the number of subjects we're acquiring. I respect the new administration's ambition, but it's getting harder and harder to meet the numbers they request, at least without drawing too much attention. So what you're telling me then, oh, we could have brought it to our screen, but what you're telling me is that there were some people, some higher-ups, who did know about all this. I mean, I suppose they would have to. But this was bound to collapse on itself at any moment. They were getting, as they said, more and more ambitious, bringing in more and more that was bound to draw someone's attention sooner or later. If it wasn't the monster getting loose, it would have been the government at some stage. I mean, this whole place was never going to last. The only way they were able to do this for so long throughout the decades was through obscurity. But after a while, they didn't even have that anymore. So now we can make our way through the construction site and possibly into the hospital. The hospital which I'm starting to suspect may actually be Ground Zero. Let's try and make this jump. Come on, this is going to be really annoying, isn't it? go up and over. Oh no, do you actually expect me to make that at an angle? This is gonna be real annoying, thank you. Yep, this all connects right onto the hospital. And we can go up and over onto the roof and into that vent. But maybe we should try going downstairs first? Doesn't seem like there's very much here. I don't know what it is about these CDs, but as soon as you tell me that there's optional collectibles, I've just gotta have them. And I can't seem to get back up these stairs. Nor is there any other way out that I can see. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to kind of no-clip that one, because I don't think I was supposed to be able to get down there. Alright, let's keep it moving then, and hope we haven't missed anything important. Oh, we couldn't just use the stairs. There's a ladder going down into the garage. Something went wrong. Horribly wrong. Whatever came out of that portal is now loose around us, and it hungers for flesh. I managed to escape using one of my colleagues as a distraction. A necessary sacrifice. The gem only scared the beast away. I need to get to my father. He may know a way to drive it back. So the son who unleashed all of this wants to go crawling back to Daddy, who never thought this was a good idea in the first place. You're talking about a portal and a gem, which more or less confirms that what's happening here is not scientific, but ritualistic. Something that probably is older than any of this. You guys were just the latest to try and harness it. Typical for somebody in their position to think that they could manage it. Oh, it is so dark. I literally can't see anything. What's even the goal? Is it just more power? Is it just that they already have everything, and so this was just another feather in the cap? I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Severed limbs in the hall. But it doesn't account for all this blood, does it? Thing is, we know that this is where it all started. We know that they were taking victims from here, and we know, or at least I would suspect, that they probably have a lab here. Nothing, but I sure have been led down a linear corridor, which I now have to go back down, huh? Or we could take the elevator. An elevator which I suspect goes further down than the ground floor, am I right? Let's find out. Never taking our gun away from the door while we do so. I think that's the creature. I think it's been stalking us this entire time. But why is it playing with its food like this? Is it bored since it got the entire population of the rest of the town? And clearly it's not just something physical, not something they stitched together. Something that came from somewhere else entirely. I knew it. I knew that they had to have some kind of lab in here, something that probably even most of the staff didn't know about unless the entire staff was in on it. It looks like the hospital may have been built over whatever this is. This location is no coincidence. Maybe the reason the family chose to build this town here was so that they could be close to whatever this is that was unearthed. And think back, the absolute devotion that so many of these people had, the idolization for this rich family, and having no idea that to them you're just meat for the grinder, just resources to make their own ambitions come true. Things they don't even need to do. It's not like they were trying to prolong their life or ward off some curse. This was all just to see if they could. What's happening? You couldn't escape the monster, and met the same fate as the townspeople. So that is abrupt ending 2 of 3. But then there must be a golden ending in there somewhere, some way I can get it. We went into the very center of everything that was happening here, and we were not prepared. So I've looked up the guide on how to get the best ending, and it is out there. Like, it's definitely something that the community probably really had to piece together when this came out. And it was really cool going back and reading the Steam guides and seeing people just kind of brainstorm and try and figure out how to get all the Easter eggs and just everything. I mean, I really love a map like this that you can just pick apart to try and get different outcomes, to try and find different secrets and just see what you can do with it. And oddly enough, that ending does actually have to do with this radio right here. I also read that there's another Easter egg we can get, which apparently involves this here gnome. So if we were to come through here, sorry little guy, but we're gonna have to make a bit of a sacrifice for science. Bring that down, take you out, and toss you into the deep water. Although from the look of the sign, it's a bit more than just deep water. Yeah, boop. Oh, the back of the sign actually has a picture of you on it, so maybe that would have been our cue to do this. So here's this being a green light. I heard a cough as I stepped underneath. Annoyingly enough, though, all it says is find the battery and place it on the transmitter, which is some draw the rest of the owl tier instructions. Okay, actually I can see the battery in there. So now it's a question of how do I go about getting in there. There's an open door beside it. Maybe I can go up and down and shoot some ladders this thing? Straight down and into here, and that is where we can get it. And from this side we can open this door. Excellent. So you really gotta scrounge, and I'm still not entirely sure why we need this. Hang on, let's see if the spirit of Mark flows through us. Can we yeet this thing straight in? We can. Oh, okay, this must be it. This must be it. Because the guide said that we needed to power on a transmitter. I had assumed that this would just be like floodlights or something. Okay, you're still telling me it looks like it's missing a battery, but we don't care about that. What we need to do now is backtrack all the way back to the radio in that house. keep hearing, like, whispering. Or the sound of words coming through a radio?
7, 4, 6, 3, 1, 9. 7, 4, 6, 3, 1, 9.
746319. And according to the guide, we have to use that somewhere in the hospital. Can we actually break all this down? Get the debris out of the way? Well, it does seem to be at least partially physicsy. Oh, we had to shoot the computer. Oh! Okay, wow. This is not stuff I would have thought to try without the guide at all. This is the single biggest bloodbath we've seen, and only one body to show for it. Although parts of some more abound. Is this where they worked on their final patient? The one who this finally worked on? Okay. What just happened? It wouldn't even let me try the buttons, it just kinda did its thing. Okay, clearly this wasn't working correctly, so I'm just gonna go ahead and no-clip through. Yeah, I think we're quickly leaving the realm of science. And is that our gem? A strange glowing gem. The only thing that could protect you from the thing. And here it is, locked away, apparently used in the ritual, but not able to be taken with them. So now I guess we just conclude things as we normally would, right? Yeah, boop. Let's see what we can do now. The relic glowed as the creature approached, which made it flee in terror. It fled. You made your way to safety through the tunnels, never to return to this cursed town. Welcome to Rothchild. Don't you mean goodbye, Rothchild? But yeah, bit of an anticlimax for everything we went through to get that. You definitely would not figure that out on your first playthrough. This place was creepy enough at first, and you always felt eyes on you. But the fact that it looked so normal really made it even creepier when you started to realize that this was essentially a cult town. And then you realized that there was more to it even than that as the story unfolded. Like, there was just a handful of layers that revealed itself in parts, and it wasn't anything all that complicated, but the way it was told really contributed to a much more subtle and much more player-driven experience. I thought it was so cool how it was on us to explore at our own pace, and it made sure that we got things in a certain order through its puzzles and through its findables. But there was such a heavy emphasis on exploration. The openness meant that it was a slower-paced map overall, but still filled with plenty of little thrills along the way to keep you interested. And so I think a lot of maps would really benefit from a format like this, and I'd love to see it become more popular. it gave us the freedom to explore each area as we saw fit. And each area felt like its own self-contained little horror story that was part of the greater whole. Each area having its own rising of tension, of planting thoughts in your head at what might be around the corner. And then finally, at some point, a release in the form of a scare. And those scares were actually quite varied. I mean, obviously the downfall of this town came about through the hubris of this family and, the mindset that they had put them into for decades, making them the perfect bucket for whatever creature they released. But in opening that portal, it's clear, I think, that a lot of other things came through as well. And as Ground Zero left this town essentially haunted. I don't think that's going to be changed with any crystal. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.